This is Micah and Sarah with the Faithful Ones, and um, we just wanted to share some thoughts and give you some encouragement this evening. I was reading out of Nehemiah chapter 9, and basically the people of Jerusalem. Nehemiah was sent by God to rebuild the walls for Jerusalem, and it was in this story that there's just a bunch of transition transition going on for the people. They're rebuilding the walls of their city. They're reestablishing themselves as a people. And in Nehemiah chapter 9, the people all come together and they are confessing their sins to the Lord. And one of the priests to um, leads them in a prayer to the Lord, and he starts off just by just declaring like who the Lord is, who God is, like God, all powerful, amazing, wonderful, creator, all these awesome things. But after that, he starts going through the history of God and who he who he's been to their people, the amazing, wonderful, miraculous things that he's done, and what they really hit on throughout that history is like, you did this, and because of your mercy you did this, and because of your goodness you did this, and just declaring all of the wonderful miraculous things that God has done through their people, and stating who God is through those things that he did. And I was reading that and I was just thinking, on a practical side, which is I think what a lot of us do. And I was just thinking, I was like, it seems like he's teaching them or reminding them who God is, who this God is that they serve. And I was thinking this is something that we should all be doing. Just jotting down the history of the Lord and who he's been to us and who he has been to our family and to our friends and to to our loved ones. Because when you go back and you remember all of those things, I don't want to say it reestablishes, but it's almost that thing that will encourages you, empowers you to remain faithful. It's like, this is the road that you are on. It's like we get in these places, sometimes we feel stuck, sometimes we feel like God's not there, but then if we'll just go back and remember the history of the things that he has done, and not just, to us. When I think about the history of God, it's not really just about me and what he's done in my life, even though he's done, amazing things in my life. It's not just those things. I go back to my best friend and her testimony, and it seems like every time we get together, she always has something more to testify about. This is what God did for us this week, and this is what he did for us last week, and um and it's so encouraging and motivating, and that's why it's so vital and important that we have that body of believers, that we have that family, in the church, or in that home group, or wherever. It's important to have those people in our lives, because it's not just our testimony, it's their testimony too. Because when we're in those places, sometimes we forget what the Lord has done. When we hear someone else's testimony, we're just thinking, well, I'll speak for myself. I just think, you know what? He'll do it for them. He'll do it for me too. This is who God is. This is who God is. You see him merciful in that situation. You see him redemptive in that situation. You see his goodness, all around you. It's happening all around you. So we have to just surround ourselves in the history of God, if that makes sense. But that's what really stuck with me when I was reading in Nehemiah 9, chapter 9. And it's just so important. So I actually did write down, well, a basic history of me and God. And so so many of his attributes show up in that history. It's like, wow. It's like, wow. My history is just filled with your goodness. Like, I see your mercy here when you did this in my life. I see that you're my provider here when you showed up in that situation. I see that you're my savior here. Yeah, of course you go back and remember, when you got saved, or when you repented from all of these things, and it's just like, Lord, you still accepted me. You're so kind. You're so good. And I don't know, there's just so many things. I encourage you to just go somewhere, in that private time, and just really think and reflect back on all of the wonderful things that God has done, not just in your own life, but in the life of your family, in the life of your friends, in the life of your loved ones. Really just think back and just meditate on those things, and just thank the Lord. Um, so yeah, what's your history? Go and think about that, and just be thankful, and fill your heart with gratitude, and just increase your faith. But that's all we have for tonight. We hope everyone has had a good week so far, even though it's just started. Hope everyone had a good Monday. That's all we have. You want to say bye-bye? Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right. Bye, guys.